We then cut to Bureau 713, where we're introduced to Commander Richard Burke, played by Stephen Dorff in what was undoubtedly the low point of his career. Until 6 years later when he did Bucky Larson. The Bureau has detected a series of electromagnetic readings in the western United States, but we don't get a chance to find out what this means because we immediately cut to Aline, who gets a phone call from an angry Dr. Hudgens instructing her not to examine the Upcani artifact under any circumstances, even though that's pretty much her job. That certainly sounds suspicious, but we don't have a chance to see her reaction because we immediately cut back to Edward. Jumping Jesus on the pogo stick of righteousness, could this movie hold still for 2 minutes? By the way, did you miss the voiceover? 'Cause it's back.
According to Upcani legend, when they opened the gate between our world and the world of darkness, a few people survived by joining forces with the creatures from the other side.
And I think we all know what he means by joining forces, eh? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, grin, grin, say no more. Edward gets to work trying to figure out what the hell was up with that headache and why several of his fellow orphans have suddenly vanished. He visits the orphanage, he talks to their families, and he even manages to get some files from an old friend of his at Bureau 713.
I tracked down the 3 you asked me about.
And by 3, I mean 5. By the way, I should probably mention I'm a complete idiot.
Nothing much in common except they all grew up in the same orphanage. Your orphanage.
So I guess they did have something pretty important in common. I mentioned I'm an idiot, right? That evening, Edward decides to pay a visit to the museum, and apparently he and Aline have met before.
I thought you were dead, you asshole.
Nice to see you too. After that brief spat, Edward has Aline analyze the Upcani artifact he found.
Do the inscriptions make any sense to you?
I'm not sure. The thing is, they're all from different locations. Venezuela, Newfoundland.
Newfoundland? Did she seriously just pronounce it Newfoundland? It's pronounced Newfoundland, you botched boob job bimbo!
10,000 years ago, that would have been like burying them at the ends of the earth.
Yeah, but why? If you want someone to build a puzzle, why would you hide the pieces so far apart?
If you can't figure that one out on your own, there's no hope for you.
Tara Reid looks really intelligent with the eyeglass.
Suddenly, there appears to be some electrical interference as the lights in the building start flickering, although this computer appears to be unaffected. Continuity, not a polite suggestion. The security guard investigates and is soon taken out by a monster that looks like it was stolen from Alien. Yes, I know the game on which this movie is based also had some H.R. Giger-inspired monsters, but I still call this an Alien ripoff because the movie actually refers to these creatures as Xenos, as in xenomorphs. Hell, in the DVD commentary, Uwe Boll actually calls them xenomorphs. Twice. He's blatantly ripping off Alien, and he gives not one fuck if anyone knows it. The balls on this guy. Anyway, Edward and Aline discover the guard's body, and instead of doing the smart thing and getting the hell out of there, they hide in a closet. And somehow this actually works. Curses, a locked door, my one weakness. A minute later, the troops from Bureau 713 arrive, and Burke immediately starts taking the piss out of Edward because... reasons.
You used to be able to take care of yourself there, Carmi. Got a little soft since you left 713.
That's easy to say when you've got government-issued body armor and weapons and an entire squadron of troops to back you up. Douche. After Edward has a little catfight with Burke, he and Aline exit the building, but he manages to swipe Burke's ID on the way out. He uses the ID to sneak into 713 HQ, what great security they must have at this government installation, and pays a visit to Sam, who is currently doing an autopsy on the bald dude. Turns out Sam has identified Baldy, and he was actually a member of 713 many years ago, and he has a strange creature symbiotically fused to his spine. Upon further investigation, Edward has one as well. But his is dead, so it's all good. Unless, of course, his doctor ever needs to take an x-ray for some reason, then questions will be asked. After that pointless revelation, we transition to another, and we learn Dr. Hudgens has somehow captured one of the Xenos, I'd love to know how he pulled that off, and has been injecting its blood into his own body. Why is he doing this? What does he hope to accomplish? Why is he acting as his own guinea pig instead of just gathering another batch of orphans to experiment on? The movie hasn't explained a damn thing yet. Why would it start now?
The man who attacked me yesterday was after the Abkhani artifact I found in Chile.
Yeah, we kind of figured that out when we saw him beating you senseless and trying to take the artifact from you. It's amazing. This movie goes out of its way to not explain anything except for the fucking obvious. Aline shows up a moment later and suddenly decides to jump his bones. So she goes from hugging him to slapping him to bumping and grinding. There's mood swings, and then there's this. By the way, in the DVD commentary, Dr. Boll complained about Tara not wanting to remove her bra for this scene. Stay classy, Uwe. Stay classy. While they're getting their groove on, we cut to Sam's home where the doorbell rings. His wife goes to answer it, and when she doesn't return, Sam goes to look for her. When he doesn't find her at the front door, he walks in the other direction and finds her dead in the living room. He's then attacked by Hudgens, who strangles him and drops some strange creature down his throat. So let me get this straight. Hudgens somehow managed to kill Sam's wife and drag her body to the opposite end of the house without making a sound.
Right.
Also, I'm pretty sure this is ripping off an episode of The X-Files. Probably several of them, actually. Meanwhile, back at Carnby's...
It seems all the pieces fit together.
Well, yeah, that's kinda how that works. I mean... Oh, you were talking about the artifacts, weren't you? I'm sorry. Oh, man. For a second there, I thought you meant, Never mind. They somehow use the artifacts to pinpoint the location of... something, but then the lights start flickering again. They're attacked by more people who have been turned into mindless killing machines like that bald dude from earlier, except these guys are easily taken down by a single gunshot. In Uwe Boll's world, continuity is for losers! Then they're attacked by Xenos, and we get one of the worst action sequences I have ever seen. Everything goes completely dark, and the scene is just barely illuminated by the gunfire. I have no idea who is firing, what they're firing at, or if they're even hitting anything.
Any resemblance to a real action sequence is purely coincidental.
Oh, and it appears some soldiers from Bureau 713 showed up in the middle of this. How? Why? Don't know, don't care.
Hey, Bert!
What the hell was that? You can clearly see that shot missed completely, and yet that woman still fell down dead. And since that effect was computer generated, that means whoever put together that effect intentionally had the bullet miss. Is the movie just fucking with me at this point? And of course, now that Edward saved Commander Burke's life, they're all buddy-buddy now, and he brings Edward and Aline along for the next mission. Apparently, they've discovered more Xenos at an abandoned gold mine and are going in to destroy them once and for all. Our heroes head into the mine while the troops set up a perimeter on the outside. But the perimeter doesn't last long as Zombie Sam attacks the generator. How he got there unnoticed is anyone's guess, and after pulling the pin out of a soldier's grenade, the power goes out. Of course, the Xenos cause electrical interference anyway, so I'm not sure how much good the generator would have done in the first place. While the troops are having a shootout with the Xenos and continuously failing to hit targets at point-blank range, our heroes press further into the mine, and one of the expendable soldiers discovers a trap in the floor. The hard way. Logically, they decide this is the way they have to go. But as they climb down, another trap is somehow sprung, and the ceiling starts to collapse. They barely escape.
I don't think we're supposed to be here.
Really? Tell me, Einstein, what tipped you off? The trap? Or the other trap?
You guys, check this out.
It's a warning.
What's a warning?
It's a message used to inform someone of danger, but that's not important right now.
It says once you make it down here alive, you're already dead.
That's more of a death sentence than a warning, actually. Suddenly, some weird worm-like creature sprouts up out of the ground, and even though they have a good 7 seconds to shoot it, they just let it attack their comrade. And she dies. Or does she? If you look closely, you'll notice her head moves as they walk away. She has come back from the dead! Or, you know, the editor was just too stupid to edit out the last half second of that take. Our heroes then find the remains of Dr. Hudgens' secret laboratory. and they notice Edward's name on one of the cots, which means Hudgens wants to use him for his experiments. Which we already knew. Again, this movie avoids explaining anything except the fucking obvious.
We've been trying to stop something they created the whole time. My guys are dying out there for nothing. For fucking nothing! God damn it! Loud noises!
A moment later, they discover a hidden door, but decide against trying to open it. Kinda makes you wonder why they came down here in the first place. Dr. Hudgens shows up a second later and forces them to hand over the Ebkani artifact at gunpoint. But just as Hudgens manages to open the door, Burke pulls out a CGI knife and takes him out in one of the most bizarre death scenes I have ever seen. On the other side of the doorway, they find a large cavern full of Xenos. I couldn't tell you exactly what this place is supposed to be because even Uwe Boll himself doesn't know.
The nest of that creatures inside that mountain. Or the gate to hell, or whatever it is.
Well, how do you expect the audience to know what you're doing if you don't even know yourself? You dumb asshole! Burke sacrifices himself to blow up the gateway to hell, or whatever it is, and don't ask me why setting the timer and running for it wasn't an option, and Edward and Aline find an escape shaft which leads to the front yard of the orphanage? Are you fucking kidding me? And why is it suddenly daylight when it was just night a few minutes ago? So with the creatures blown to hell, or whatever it is, the world is saved. Or so you think. But when they return to the streets of Vancouver, or whatever city Vancouver is supposed to be an analog for, they discover it's been evacuated. An entire metropolis has been evacuated in less than 24 hours. Sounds legit. And Evil Dead ripoff in 3, 2, 1... And then we get the end credits. Normally I wouldn't bother talking about this because they're just credits, but in this case I'll make an exception because of Uwe Boll's choice of music. Wish I Had an Angel by Nightwish. Now don't get me wrong, I like Nightwish. I've been a fan of Nightwish for many years. But Wish I Had an Angel is arguably their worst song. If he wanted a Nightwish song in the soundtrack, there are so many much better songs he could have chosen. And that's how incompetent Uwe Boll is as a filmmaker. He can't even get the ending credits music right. Well, what more can I say? This movie is absolutely terrible. The acting ranges from passable to crap, the story is laughably bad, the effects are awful, and it resembles the source material pretty much in name only. In a nutshell, it's exactly what you'd expect from an Uwe Boll video game adaptation. If you're the sort of person that enjoys pointing and laughing at these types of movies, you'll probably get some enjoyment out of this. And you'll get bonus enjoyment from the DVD commentary when you discover just how batshit insane Uwe Boll really is. But if you're not that sort of person, avoid this one at all costs. And that's it for today. Next time, it'll be my 50th episode, which I guess means I have to do something special, huh? Alright, fine, I'll do the host. You happy? I'm the Smeghead, and Hollywood can suck it. Good night.
For fucking nothing! God damn it!